M. Scott Veach, PhD, Booger, Eatin, Schmuck, 19 July 2020.
I think it's the other way around. I think religion claims to know for sure, but scientists will claim, and I think this is good, they'll claim that they don't know anything for absolute certainty. They have probabilistic beliefs and confident levels of confidence in what they think to be true. And some have very high confidence. You might as well call them 100%, but technically, I think they'll stop just short of that. But probabilistic beliefs in the way the world works is a healthy and probably good way to approach things.
Probabilistic beliefs?
What's this?
He's saying that the idea of the scientific method should be unused, not used at all. The phrase shouldn't be used. The idea of it should be, it's not really used in real science anyway. It's just this sort of myth that's built up around science.
So the scientific method is not real science, is what you're saying?
No, that's not
Yeah,
what is
exactly.
No, that's not
Yeah,
what is
exactly.
No, that's not
Yeah,
what is
exactly. Knowledge and science and research are done in ways that would be idiosyncratic for each individual person. Everyone approaches it differently, and they can approach it differently, and that's okay. That we need something different than a set of procedures to figure out what defines truth.
How knowledge is done? How in the world do you do knowledge, you booger-eating schmuck? So, science, natural science, is idiosyncratic in its method? Eh? Wouldn't that make the process standardless and subjective? Isn't natural science distinguished from all other forms of explanation by its empirical and objective character? You sure you're not just making contradictory, nonsensical horseshit up in a feebly clumsy attempt to grease the skids for your belly laugher probabilistic belief observation tests? Additionally, the scientific method doesn't define truth. It's a method employed to validate or invalidate natural cause and effect relationships. Also, your fearless leader, Gem Panda, Mr. Bird's Humping Natural Experiment, said recently, all knowledge is belief, knowledge is a subset of belief, and knowledge is special belief. You just identified 30 seconds ago probabilistic beliefs. Therefore, according to you knuckle draggers, everyone should do probabilistic knowledge. That'll get us there.
First of all, the scientific method is not about finding the cause of an observed phenomenon. You know that, right?
Oh, really? So the scientific method, the one that you claim is a myth, which doesn't exist, isn't about cause and effect, eh? If something doesn't exist, how on the flying Fukuyama can you then comment on its attributes, or lack thereof, without escaping the straitjacket rubber room frontal lobotomy scenario?
You dumbass.
Back to reality. From Sean Carroll, Caltech physicist, arguing in The Edge that hypotheses aren't simply useful tools in some potentially outmoded vision of science. They are the whole point. So, what's a hypothesis? From Lowell C., Becoming a Successful Scientist, Cambridge University, a scientific hypothesis is based on cause and effect reasoning. From Drexel University, the scientific method is hypothesis-driven. One makes an educated guess to explain what? Cause and effect. From Anne-Marie Helmstein, PhD, Biomedical Sciences, a hypothesis is an educated guess based on observation. It's a prediction of what? Cause and effect. From the Institute of Physics, when planning an investigation, students need to identify the variables that they consider significant and then select the ones they want to look at for cause and effect. From the University of North Carolina, in an experiment, the independent variable is a variable that is varied or manipulated by the researcher, and the dependent variable is a response that is measured. An independent variable is the presumed cause, whereas the dependent variable is the presumed effect. From your alma mater wiki, An experiment is a procedure carried out to support, refute, or validate a hypothesis. Experiments provide insight into cause and effect. From the Office of Research Integrity, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, therefore, in experiments, a researcher manipulates an independent variable to determine if it causes a change in the dependent variable. So,
Calling all cars. We have
numpty dipshit.
all cars, please assist. All cars, please assist.
Well, as I said before, though, I don't really think there is such a thing as a scientific method. I think the words don't really mean anything. Nobody uses a scientific method. It's not a thing that exists.
You serious?
That's rhetorical. We'll just do 10 out of 185 million. We want to get out of here this century. From the Geosociety, Kristen McClellan, the title of the article, The Nature of Science and the Scientific Method. From the University of Rochester Physics Labs, Professor Wolf's title of the article, Introduction to the Scientific Method. From Anne-Marie Helmenstein, PhD, Biomedical Sciences, title of the article, 6 Steps of the Scientific Method. From the Khan Academy, title of the article, The Scientific Method. From Live Science, title of the article, Science and the Scientific Method. From ChemLibreText, title of the article, 1.4, The Scientific Method, How Chemists Think. From Northern Arizona University, title of the article, Defining the Scientific Method. From Purdue University, title of the article, The Scientific Method. From the National Institutes of Health.gov, title of the paper, The Scientific Method. From the most prestigious secular science journal in the entire friggin' world, Nature, title of the article, Defining the Scientific Method.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over.
Ow! 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 M. Scott Veach, PhD, Booger Eatin' Schmuck. Just tattoo pretender clown dunce on your forehead and be done with it already. Scotty, are you okay? Scotty, are you okay? Are you okay, Scotty? Scotty, are you okay? Are you okay, Scotty? By the way, thanks.
First of all, you know, the scientific method is not about finding the cause of an observed phenomena. You know that, right?
So you tell us about the virtues of the scientific method, then in the very next breath, tell us that the scientific method doesn't exist. Makes perfect sense. I bet you have scholars from around the world lining up to listen to you speak.
That's right. And sometimes the steps are similar. Sometimes the steps are the same, but not always. And it just depends on the situation.
What? Steps? Steps of what? That thing that doesn't exist?
Oh, son of a... That's gonna leave a mark.
Scott, I've got to clear this up, Jen, here. So, Mr. Scott, you observed something, okay, and then you said you made another observation, and that gave you the conclusion. So this is your version
No,
of
what
science.
I said was, they observed the phenomena.
Yeah.
They had a hypothesis.
Okay.
They observed the phenomena. They had a hypothesis.
Yeah.
To test the hypothesis, they used scientific observation.
Retard!
So observe, then hypothesis, then an observed test?
Ariel, look behind Rachel! It's a
And pray tell, Booger Eatin' Schmuck, what's the difference between just your run-of-the-mill everyday observation and a scientific observation? Goggles? Then, Crayon Muncher, when does the probabilistic beliefs enter the picture? Before the first observation or right before you put on the goggles?